as long as recorded history, this enchanting land belonged to Buddha. And to this day, Buddha's monks trek throughout villages and cities, teaching Buddha's simple message of peace and revealing his biggest wonders. Over the centuries, millions of people have traveled across miles of land, making up Southeast Asia. But they found its heart within the temples and palaces of the Kingdom of Siam. The 20th century witnessed the Kingdom of Siam change its name to Thailand, the land of the free. This reflected its determination to keep pace with the world around it. Thailand has indeed emerged as a center of international trade and travel, producing the highest quality of traditional handicrafts of silver, silk, and precious gems. Bangkok, the City of Angels, is Thailand's capital, a city that has preserved the past so as to enhance its future. Thailand is a land of beauty, and with open arms and a smile, its 50 million people welcome all nations. Tonight, Thailand welcomes the world's eye to focus on its capital city as it hosts 25 of the most beautiful women in the world. Tonight, watch as these young women compete for over $40,000 in cash and prizes, including a fantasy year filled with travel and adventure.
Europe and Asia Pacific aboard Thai International Airways, and upon their arrival, they soon began to feel a little special.
One of the first places the girls visited was the Royal Palace. This place is incredible. All of the buildings look to be saturated in gold and precious gems. Everywhere you look, there were magnificent sculptures, statues, and works of art. The architecture alone was a sight, not only for your eyes, but for the camera as well. The most impressive temple was the one that housed the Emerald Buddha. It was a great opportunity to see the Buddhist culture up close. All around, you could see people deeply involved in their religion. It was absolutely fantastic. It took about 3 hours in tremendous Thai heat to see the Royal Palace, but they all seemed to enjoy it.
Some of the girls traveled outside of town to visit mini Siam. This place was unreal. They saw many of Thailand's most spectacular temples and buildings, all reproduced in miniature in the finest detail. They must have felt like giants walking around this place. When the girls had enough of the poolside entertainment at the hotel, they took to the sea in style. Well, let's say they had a good time getting wet. You see, some of them had never been to the ocean, let alone try their hand at windsurfing. But trying is half the fun, right?
The Royal Cliff Beach Resort also provided these wonderful tiny speedboats for the girls. I think the boats were the most popular attraction on the water. I mean, some of them got a little brave speeding around in the ocean swells. In fact, I think they even had a side bet to see who could go the fastest. Daniela Brun, Miss Germany, gathered enough courage to give parasailing a chance. It's definitely a sport that looks very scary when you're on the ground. But once you get up over the ocean, it's a great feeling. Although I think Daniela was glad to get her feet back on the sandy beaches of Pattaya.
A visit to Thailand would not be complete without a side trip to see the elephants. Elephants have literally been a big part of Thai culture over the centuries. The girls seem to have a good time here. After feeding the elephants, the expert guides were more than happy to let you climb aboard one of their friends for a short ride around the park. It's not every day you get a chance to ride an elephant. I hope they brought their cameras.
The Chapia River, or River of Kings, was and still is the lifeblood of Bangkok. It was once used as a natural barrier to ward off the badgering Burmese. Now it's a great place to catch a long-tail boat ride and explore the many canals or klongs meandering throughout the city. You really get a good look at the sights without all the congestion of city traffic. One awesome sight is the Temple of Dawn. This is probably one of the most photographed temples in all of Bangkok.
I guess if there was one cultural trait that ran through the veins of every girl here at the Miss Allnations pageant, it would have to be the desire to shop. But don't worry, the prices are remarkable. You could find almost anything you needed at prices you would never find at home. Bangkok definitely is one of the greatest bargain centers of the world. And bargaining with the vendors was half the fun.
It was was also a lot of fun taking a ride in a tuk-tuk, a three-wheeled taxi. There was also a pleasant surprise when the King's motorcade passed through town. It was exciting to see King Rama IX, the longest reigning monarch in Thailand's history. He's a king that is greatly admired and respected by the people. It's quite evident by the number of people seen lining the streets along with the girls.
After shopping, it was time again for another Miss Allnations dinner hosted by the Royal Cliff Beach Resort. After dinner and a long day of photo sessions, autograph signing, sightseeing, and shopping, they changed their clothes and relaxed in the hotel lounge. It was a good chance to escape the hustle and bustle of being a pageant contestant. It was also a good time to spend with the others talking about the day's events in the land of smiles.
Guys, of our contestants, this fabulous country of Thailand.
Now we want to take you on another brief encounter between our camera and the people, culture, and the traditions of Thailand.
During sunrise and sunset, Thailand literally glows. The sun illuminates the countryside with a radiant orangish yellow, much the same color as the Buddhist monks' saffron robes. Everywhere you travel throughout the Kingdom of Thailand, you'll find the saffron-robed monks engaged in their rituals and devotion. For a Westerner like myself, the monks have a mysterious aura about them as they beg throughout the streets and meditate in the magnificent temples. Although there are other religions in Thailand, such as Christianity and Muslim, 95% of the people are Buddhist.
And if Buddha is their spiritual leader, the king is definitely their respected mortal leader. He just celebrated his 61st birthday, and with his wife, the Queen of Thailand, they enjoy the longest reigning monarchy in history. This river festival typifies the splendor and ceremony anchored by the king.
And if you want to see the river life, you've got to make it to the floating market.
I did make it.
Then, Beverly, you saw some of the most exotic flowers and food in your life. Hundreds of men and women float throughout the Klong, selling their goods to the locals and tourists. For them, it's just like going out to the grocery store, except instead of your keys, you grab a paddle.
Maybe more people should grab a boat instead of a car, because Bangkok has the worst traffic in the world. I must admit, I didn't see any elephants on the road, but I've traveled a lot, and their traffic is just plain bad.
Didn't you see any elephants?
No, but they did tell me the best time to see elephants in action is during the Festival of Sukrin. Now, this is when elephants and volunteers dress in ceremonial costumes to recreate historic battles.
You know, elephants have been a big part of Thai history and culture for hundreds of years, especially in the Great Teak Forest. They would and still do use elephants to clear and pull the massive tree trunks down to the river. Some of our girls took a side trip one day and witnessed the elephants demonstrating their logging skills.
Speaking of skill, the tribal villagers are a very creative lot. I had a chance to travel up into the hill country on an earlier visit, and you wouldn't believe the handicraft. Their workmanship is incredible. I felt like they should have been charging a lot more money than they were.
I know what you mean. And what about the jewelry, the gold? I must admit, I did buy quite a bit of it. Not these pieces, but rings, pendants, and other things.
Here's one of my favorite places in all of Thailand, the River of Kings. When you get back into some of the smaller klongs, you see some great images.
And you forget about the massive city surrounding you.
How can you forget about the city?
All right, so you don't forget about the city. Here's something you don't see every day, though. Outside our hotel, you can see people of all ages working out and meditating in the park. I especially like the Tai Chi. It's so mysterious and graceful.
I really enjoyed walking along the streets and finding flower merchants selling flowers found throughout Thailand.
They say you haven't seen Thailand until you've seen their beaches, from Phuket to Pattaya. You can do anything your heart desires. There's people there from every corner of the world, and everybody's out to have a good time. There's plenty of fun in the sun on the beaches of Thailand.
And back in Bangkok, there's plenty of fun at night in the past1 district. Thousands of people descend upon this place when the lights go down. And if you're into nightlife, this is where the action is. From vendors selling watches, purses, and clothes to guys hustling go-go girls at every turn. Thailand does indeed offer something for everybody. The judges have handed Dave the list with the names of our 5 finalists.